And we're back with Big South Virtual Basketball Media Day as we move on to Presbyterian College. And we start with head coach Laura Sharp, who is joined today with her junior guard and preseason all-conference selection, Trinity Johnson. Coach Sharp, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Well, it's great to see you. Let's go ahead and start on how your preparations for the season have gone, obviously during this current environment.
I think the preparation has been good. It feels like no matter what we've been hit with, we've really tried to make the most of our opportunities, whether they've been on Zoom or they've been on the basketball court. I've been really impressed with our team's maturity of handling everything that we've thrown at them, and your install has been really cut down and really trimmed. And so we have really installed things fast. I feel like our team's done a good job of coming in and getting an extra film and extra workouts to try to close the gaps. And so it's been challenging as a coach, but I like the challenge to pivot and find new ways to try to get better as a team. And it helps when you have leadership like Trinity Johnson, who helps really be the bridge from the coaching staff to the players. And this is our third year going together. And so it's been really fun, and I'm looking forward to the season.
Well, let's go ahead and bring in Trinity. Trinity, good afternoon. Congratulations. Let's go ahead and start with your reaction to being named to the preseason all-conference team.
Well, I didn't find out. I've been in class all day, so I didn't really find out until a couple hours ago. But, I owe it all to my coaches, my teammates for pushing me and my coaches especially giving me this opportunity.
All right, we'll start taking some questions. For those who would like to talk to Coach Sharp and Trinity, please enter your name in the group chat, and we'll get to your questions as they come in. And we'll start with Brock Bowling. Go ahead, Brock.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for joining us here today. Year 3 with the program, 7 wins the first year, 12 wins last year. As you enter year 3, how do you feel about the overall progress of the program has made since you've been there? And 2, what do you think will be the biggest strengths of your team this year?
Yeah. Hey, how you doing? My Southeast Kansas guy. So good to see you, and excited to get ready for another season. But I've been pleased with the progress. I think that a lot of people tell you all the time that you've got to trust the process, and you hear that, but you don't really understand what that means until you go through it. And every year we've tried to stick true to the process. And we've had some players that have grown up in the program, like Trinity Johnson, like Shamani Stafford. We've had players who've been here that laid the foundation and are continuing to help us grow our program. And it feels good to go into year 3. It feels good to have a bunch of returners and less new players. My first couple years, the first year everybody's new. The second year, over half your team's new, and now over a third of your team is returning, and that feels really good and makes things a lot more simple. And I think from a strength standpoint, I think we're always going to hang our hat on the defensive end. We are going to stay true to our matchup defense and try to speed people up and trap and fly around and use our athleticism and our length. And on the offensive end, I think being able to spread people out, and I feel like are multidimensional from a standpoint of being able to have players that can get to the rim and also spread people out and shoot the 3. And I love the 3, and we will shoot a lot of 3s like we always have. But again, we want to play disciplined basketball and play with a ton of energy and a ton of enthusiasm. And that's just kind of who we are. And PC's blue collar. And I think you'll probably hear Coach Q talk about the same thing. We want to do the little things really well and be really disciplined.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brock. Trinity, year 1 to year 3, where do you see your progression has been under Coach Sharp, and what are some of the areas of your game that you're looking to improve on this year?
At my freshman year to now, I definitely stepped up from a leadership standpoint, being one of the main leaders and then the point guard of our team. I have to make sure everyone's in their right spot, doing what they're supposed to do. So I have to know a lot on and off the court, essentially. But this year, I want to focus more on my assist to turnover ratio. You know, I trust my teammates enough, like Coach Sharp said, we shoot the three a lot. So I know, like, for a fact, like, if I get it to them, I know they're going to knock it down from that standpoint, and then just taking care of the ball for myself personally.
And Coach, for you, what are like three things that you're looking to focus on with the group? You know, what are you expecting to see with this squad this season?
There's a few things that we're trying to focus on. Trinity just touched on it, is shots per possession. We've turned the ball over a little too much in the past, and that's something that we've focused on early on this year, is just, are we getting a shot every possession? And so that's been a big area that we've looked to improve. The second thing is being better rebounding. We've got to improve our offensive rebounding, our defensive rebounding. That's been an area that we've put a lot of emphasis on early on here. And I would say the third thing, and we've done well before, is just our overall execution of our scouts, of our game plans, offensive game plan, defensive game plan. As you get into it and you're here in year 3, there's more that you can do with your team. You don't have to be so simple. You don't have to be so basic. We can really challenge them and get really creative in our game planning and our scheme. And I'm really excited about that, to be able to challenge them, because it's going to be interesting this year. We're going to play back-to-back games. I like the challenge that comes with that. And we talked as a staff today, we might have 2 game plans going in. We've got one, and we can see if that works, and we already have our adjustments ready, what we might think the other team might do, and how are we going to adjust, because your turnaround is going to be so quick, and you've got to be able to turn the page from game 1, go on to game 2, and what are we going to throw at them with a little bit of preparation time. And the cool thing is you have a whole week to get ready, but then you have less than 24 hours to get ready for your next game. So that'll be challenging, and something that I'm looking to really try to change things up and see if we can make some teams uncomfortable.
Thanks, Coach. We're going to go back to Brock Bowling. There's another question. Go ahead, Brock.
Actually, she sort of already answered the question just a moment ago, but as far as playing back-to-back, as far as the pros and cons go, I guess it's a con if you lose the game, but is it a pro that you get to go right back at them the next day and try to figure some things out and try and get the win again?
There's no doubt about it. I mean, I think when you have the quick turnaround, you have to have a short memory. Whether you win the game, you got to have a short memory. Whether you lose the game, you got to have a short memory. And we've got to find a way to approach that second day fresh in our mind, fresh in our bodies. Recovery is going to be a big thing. And luckily we have a strength coach now who I think can really help us recover quickly, hopefully our body and our mind. But I think too, that it's going to come down to the will and the want to of your team. You've got, what is it, 22 hours between your games. And if you have a knockdown drag out, can you wake up the next day and be connected enough as a team to be excited to go back out and battle again and again? And so, like I said, I'm excited about that. It's going to be challenging, but at the same time, I like the idea of being able to get right back out there the next day. And can we do it again? Or if we take a loss, can we turn around and flip it the very next day?
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. I'm going to go back to Trinity on this one. Some of your teammates, who's kind of playing a little more confidently this year? Who do you see as kind of the breakout players on the squad?
Tiana Carter, for sure. She already had an amazing season as a freshman last year. So I'm just excited to see where she's going to take her game this year. And also Jade Compton, who is a senior this year. But I'm really excited just to play more with them. They both were new teammates to me last year, so I feel like we've grown a lot both on and off the court. So just having that chemistry, I'm really excited to see where all we go this season.
And Coach, with that, what kind of non-conference schedule have you set up for the squad?
We have a tough non-conference schedule. I feel like we've got to get ready for Big South play, and I wanted to be challenged early on. And so we open up the season at Kennesaw State, who has a mix of returners and newcomers. They had a good season last year, and then we're going to go to Clemson and play the Clemson Tigers, and excited about that challenge. And obviously when you can play right down the road from your school, it's exciting. We hope there's going to be fans there, but who knows what's going to happen with that. But and then we'll come back and play some SoCon conference opponents, which I think really can get you ready for Big South play, because they're going to play a lot of the Big South opponents. So you can kind of see some common opponents and some of that stuff as you start preparing for your conference slate, which we don't have to wait till the end of December anymore. I think the second week in December, we're going to be kicking it off at home against Gardner-Webb. So non-conference is going to go by really, really fast. And it's crazy that it feels like we just started practice, and here we are starting to get ready for our scouts and our game planning. And you feel like you still have a lot to install and a lot of stuff to do, but you got to just pick what you want to be good at early on and challenge your team to be disciplined and get better every day. And that I've been so impressed with our team. They have stepped on the court every day with the mindset to really get better as a team. And we spent a lot of the early season, we couldn't do contact. So we just really focused on skill development. And now it's been fun being able to really do a lot of team development stuff and getting ready to play.
All right, well, Coach Trinity, that's all the time we have for you this afternoon. We appreciate your insight as the Blue Hills get ready for the year. We wish you the best of luck this season. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we look forward to seeing the team compete later on.
Thanks for having us.
All right, thank you. We're going to transition over to men's basketball head coach Quinton Farrell and his sophomore guard Michael Isler. Coach Farrell, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, Mark. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing fine. Good to see you. Let's hear your thoughts on how your preseason prep is going with the squad, and then we'll turn it over to Michael.
Yeah, well, it's definitely been a different preseason from all of my other years of coaching. Just spent a lot of time in the off season before we got to campus on Zoom. We have 9 new players in our program, along with the 4 returners. So, as much as we could, we tried to make sure we could, build some chemistry, camaraderie, amongst the group, while we were back home. And so we spent a lot of time on Zooms, team bonding, team building, and just letting the guys get to know each other. And I feel like that's going really well. Fast forward to getting to campus, I felt like the guys, hit it off pretty good. And I think that the Zoom calls helped, over the spring and over the summer. So I like the chemistry our guys have shown. And it's been a lot of skill development in terms of on the court, because obviously we weren't doing a lot of contact stuff early on. So overall, just, excited about a new group of guys, guys that we were able to go out and recruit to kind of match how we want to play at PC and build a program in my image. So I'm excited about that moving forward.
Thanks, Coach. Let's bring in Michael, your sophomore guard. How has it been for you from a perspective of the student athlete and your teammates preparing for a season in this different environment? What are some things you've had to adjust to?
It's been kind of hard this season compared to last season, because we have to be more cautious. And for me, we just have to stay, keep our social distance, keep washing our hands, go to practice, go back to your room, do your work. So it's different. You can't be social a lot this year. You have to keep to yourself.
Well, now I'll start taking questions from both Coach Farrell and Michael Isler. Ask a question, just enter our question queue in the group chat at any time. We'll take them in the order they come. And while we wait, Coach Farrell, entering year 2, obviously a little different than how you had to start last year. But what are your next steps in your continuing to build a program in your style and your way?
Yeah, for me, the biggest thing is just the culture, right? Just getting guys that can really uphold the standards that, I kind of vision for the program that's going to create a path of success for us. And I think the guys we have, they're doing a good job of going down that road and being able to kind of live out our standards. We talk a lot about that, living out the standards. It's one thing to have it on a piece of paper, and it's one thing for me to stand up in front of them and always talk about it. But we just talk about being about it and walking the walk. And so I think my guys are slowly but surely getting that message. And I think I know we got the right guys in the program now to do that. And so that part is very exciting for me. And I've really liked what I've seen so far being on campus this fall.
All right, we do have a question for you, Coach. It's from John Teetle. Go ahead, John.
Good afternoon, Coach. Can you hear me?
Hey, John, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
You too. Thanks. Just wanted to know in terms of the roster composition, I believe you're one of probably the only teams in the country who had 4 freshmen last year start at least 13 games. I believe, if my math is right, Zeb and Michael and Owen and Sean all started at least 13 games. So I wanted to see, now that they're each entering year number 2 for you, is it something that the continuity really saves your day because your only senior has only played a few games for you? And is it something that you expect them to make either collectively or individually a big leap in year number 2?
I definitely do. And obviously that group is led by Mike, who had a terrific freshman year. And those 4 guys, Michael had started pretty much the whole season. I think he started every game last year except for one. But right after Christmas break, we inserted the other 3 freshmen in the starting lineup. And, we got off to a 5-1 start, in Big South play. So those 4 guys, even though there are only 4 returners, they're really good players. And as I tell them all the time, they're actually, they're the heartbeat of our program. Those guys were, with us from year 1. They went through a lot of adversity. And I think that's built character for those 4 guys. And, I'm really excited about the jump they're going to make, their familiarity with me, the staff, the program. So they're going to be huge, in the success we're going to eventually have here at PC.
Thank you, John. Michael, I have a question for you. Just as you're starting year 2, what are some areas of your game that you're looking to improve on for this season? Mike, did you get that? I don't know if he froze up or not. So, Coach, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Okay.
What are some 3 things that you're focusing on and expecting from your squad this year?
Well, right off the bat, for us, everything starts on the defensive end of the floor. So that's an area where I want to see us improve in terms of the league standings. Our goal is to be the best defensive team in the Big South. So there's been a lot of emphasis on that side of the floor for us. And then another thing that, that was a problem for us last year was our ability to take care of the basketball. We led the league in turnovers last year. And so that's been another huge emphasis going into year 2 for us to clean up because we did some good things defensively at times. And we were actually a really good team offensively. I think we shot like 48.5% from the field last year. But the problem was we didn't get enough possessions because we led the league in turnovers. So I think we got some areas where we can build off of. And I think with some of the personnel, the new guys we got that kind of fit what we're trying to do, I think those 2 areas for sure, I think will really help us continue to move the program forward.
Thanks, Coach. All right, I'm going to try Michael again, asking about what you're looking to improve on in your personal game as you enter your 2nd year of PC.
Okay, so I think this year I have to be more vocal because we have a lot of freshmen and they don't know. I think I have to be more vocal, and I have to cut down on my turnovers too because they're Coach saying we let the lead in turnovers. So I think I just have to cut down on turnovers. But I have to put in more effort too. I know last year I didn't know how to make that transition from high school to college, but now I know. So I have to put in more effort. But yeah, that's about it.
We're taking questions for Presbyterian College head coach Quinton Farrell and sophomore guard Michael Isler. Coach, question for you. How's the non-conference schedule look? Who do you got?
Yeah, so obviously we were, like everybody in the country, we were impacted with the start date getting pushed back. So, we had most of our guarantee games against the Power Fives early in November. So we lost a few of those, which, I actually like those games for my guys, and so do my guys too. I think all guys at this level love playing those games. But we open up at Jacksonville, which is the finish of the second part of that series that we had with them. We go down there to open up the season. And then we were able to get Wofford on the schedule, which is a great game for us, with them being right down the road. So that'll be a home game for us. So we'll get a chance to, see where we are with a great program like Wofford. And then we play Wake Forest in the non-conference around December 13th. So that'll be a really good game for us to go play an ACC team, kind of in their building and kind of see where we are. And then we finish up with South Carolina State in the Citadel for our 5, because we decided not to do an MTE just with travel and, a bunch of other different factors. So, and the league went to 20 games, so that kind of helped us make that decision too. So that's our non-conference schedule.
I'll ask this question for both of you. Coach, I guess I'll let you start. And I'm just curious as to Michael's reaction. Preseason poll came out earlier this morning. The Blue Hose were picked 11th. With such a young team, how much, and I know sometimes coaches do not put a lot of stock, but, just the reaction to that, Coach, and, and I'll ask Michael, just the reaction from the student-athlete player side as to where they feel, that ranking, where that ranking might be.
Yeah, I think for us, it doesn't change the goal, right? We have our own plan in terms of what we're chasing and what we're going after. So, that doesn't play a part in our day-to-day and what we have going on and where we're trying to go as a program. And I think everybody over here is extremely confident in what we're doing and where we're going. So, we tend to focus on the things that we can control. I think we were picked 10th last year and we didn't finish 10th. So, with the preseason polls, it's definitely good to celebrate the league and to talk about definitely added motivation too, being a competitor and competing. So, you're always trying to find things to use to motivate yourself, motivate your group. So it'll definitely be good bulletin board material for us for sure.
And Michael, I'll let you weigh in on your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I feel like it's a motivation too. I feel like we just need to trust the process, trust the players and coaches, and everything will play out.
All right. I'm not seeing any more questions for you all. So we'll go ahead and let you go, but we appreciate your time today. We wish you the best of luck this season. Stay safe, stay healthy. We look forward to seeing the Blue Hose compete later this year.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you all.
Thank you.